If you're still here, this video is not for everyone. In the first part we exposed a symbol. In this part, we follow what happens after the symbol appears. Because symbols are not warnings. They are confirmations. They don't exist to be understood by the public. They exist to mark a moment. A point of no return. This is not about red shoes anymore. It's about access, protection, and silence. Once you see this layer, you don't unsee it. Every system has a door. And every door has a moment when it closes behind you. What most people misunderstand about symbols is this. They are not invitations. They are not warnings. They are confirmations. By the time a symbol appears publicly, the decision has already been made. The agreement is already signed. The line has already been crossed. In this layer of power, nothing happens spontaneously. No one accidentally displays a mark tied to control or hierarchy. Symbols appear only after loyalty is proven. Not loyalty to an idea. Loyalty to silence. This is where the point of no return exists. Not when someone becomes famous. Not when someone gains power. But when someone accepts protection in exchange for obedience. At that moment the system no longer tests you. It owns you. After this point, careers no longer rise naturally. They are maintained. Scandals no longer destroy. They are neutralized. Laws no longer apply equally. They bend. This is why some people survive situations that would end anyone else. Not because they are smarter. Not because they are lucky. But because they no longer stand alone. The symbol marks this transition. Before the symbol you are expendable. After the symbol you are an asset. And assets are protected. This is also why you never see explanations from those inside the circle. They do not deny. They do not confirm. They remain silent. Because silence is not fear. Silence is compliance. Once the door closes, there is no exit interview. No public confession. No redemption arc. The system does not forgive betrayal. It erases it. So when people ask why would anyone agree to this? The answer is simple. Because the price of entry is high. But the cost of refusal is higher. Power is never given for free. But it is always rewarded. After the point of no return, the system changes its behavior toward you. Not emotionally. Structurally. Before acceptance you are tested. You are pushed. You are disposable. After acceptance you are managed. This is the reward system. And it doesn't look like money at first. The first reward is access. Access to rooms you never knew existed. Information before it becomes public. Decisions before they are announced. The second reward is protection. Mistakes that would destroy others simply disappear. Stories get buried. Evidence gets lost. Public outrage fades overnight. This is not luck. This is containment. The third reward is immunity. Not legal immunity on paper but functional immunity in reality. Rules still exist but they no longer apply to you the same way. Consequences become negotiable. This is why some people survive scandals that should end everything. Why others fall instantly for far less. It's not about morality. It's about status inside the system. At this level, careers are no longer built by talent or effort. They are maintained by compliance. You don't need to be brilliant. You just need to be predictable. And predictability is the real currency of power. The system does not reward creativity. It rewards obedience. Those inside are not free. They are insured. And insurance only works as long as you never speak out of line. This is why you never hear real whistleblowers from the top. Those who know the most. Say the least. Because the reward system is not designed to make you powerful. It is designed to make you silent. At some point, every powerful system faces the same problem. Exposure. Not exposure as in being revealed. But exposure as in being seen too much. This is where most people get it wrong. They believe symbols disappear when they are dangerous. In reality, symbols disappear when they are hidden. So the system does the opposite. It floods the environment with them. This is called saturation. When a symbol appears everywhere, it stops triggering alarm. It becomes decoration, aesthetic, noise. Movies use it. Fashion repeats it. Social media jokes about it. Memes reduce it to entertainment. And once a symbol becomes entertainment, it loses its power to warn. This is not accidental. It is psychological engineering. The human brain is designed to ignore repetition. The more often you see something, the less meaning it carries. Eventually, it becomes invisible. This is why symbols are never removed. They are diluted. When people say you're seeing patterns everywhere, that reaction is the goal. The system doesn't need you to believe. It needs you to dismiss. Because the moment a symbol is mocked, it becomes safe. Safe to display. Safe to repeat. Safe to hide behind. This is why serious warnings are never censored directly. They are drowned. Not with silence, but with excess. Too many images. Too many references. Too many explanations. Until nothing feels real anymore. And once everything is symbolic, nothing feels important. This is the lock. Not ignorance. Not denial. But saturation. The system doesn't hide its language. It overloads it. So when someone finally notices something real, the response is automatic. You're overthinking. It's just a symbol. It's everywhere anyway. And just like that, the warning neutralizes itself. Censorship is loud. Mockery is silent. A system that openly bans ideas creates resistance. A system that ridicules them creates obedience. This is why real power rarely censors. It laughs. The moment an idea becomes a joke, it becomes harmless. Not because it is false, but because no one wants to be associated with it. Mockery is social control. People are not afraid of being wrong. They are afraid of being embarrassed. Once an idea is labeled as ridiculous, questioning it becomes risky. Not legally, socially. You don't get arrested. You get dismissed. This is why serious topics are always surrounded by exaggeration, memes, and caricatures. The goal is not to disprove. The goal is to contaminate. When an idea is mixed with absurdity, anyone who touches it absorbs the stigma. And stigma spreads faster than truth. This is also why debates are never answered calmly. They are attacked emotionally. With sarcasm. With eye rolls. With labels. Crazy. Conspiracy. Chronically online. These words are not arguments. They are warning signs. They signal to others. Don't go there. Once mockery is established, the system doesn't need to respond anymore. The crowd does it automatically. People police each other. They shut each other down. They laugh together. And laughter feels good. It feels safe. That is why mockery is more effective than fear. Fear creates rebels. Mockery creates isolation. At this stage, truth doesn't need to be hidden. It can be shown openly, because anyone who points at it will be laughed at. And nothing kills curiosity faster than public humiliation. At this stage, the system no longer needs symbols. It no longer needs rewards. It no longer needs mockery, because the lock is already inside the mind. This is the final layer of control. Not imposed. Accepted. The psychological lock works in a very simple way. It convinces people that noticing patterns is dangerous. Not because it's wrong, but because it's uncomfortable. Humans are not programmed to seek truth. They are programmed to seek stability. Once a belief threatens social belonging, the brain treats it as a threat. Not intellectually, biologically. Heart rate rises. Stress increases. The body wants out. So the mind does what it does best. It rationalizes. It minimizes. It explains away. It's probably nothing. Everyone does this. I'm just overthinking. This is not ignorance. This is self-protection. The system doesn't need to silence people who notice something is wrong. It just needs them to silence themselves. That's the lock. People begin to police their own thoughts. They avoid certain questions. They stop following certain lines of logic. Not because they were told to, but because it feels safer not to. At this level, control becomes invisible. There are no orders, no punishments, no threats, just discomfort. And discomfort is enough. This is why most people who sense something is wrong never go further. They stop right before clarity, right before understanding. Not because they can't see the truth, but because seeing it would require change. And change is costly. Can cost friendships, careers, identity, belonging. So the mind locks the door from the inside. This is why the system is so stable. Not because it is strong, but because it is internalized. The final control is not surveillance. It is consent. Silent, automatic, unquestioned. And once the lock is in place, the system no longer needs to hide anything at all. At this point, nothing needs to be hidden anymore. Not because there are no secrets, but because the system no longer relies on secrecy. It relies on habit, on comfort, on the decision to look away. The most effective control is not force. It's the moment you tell yourself this is not worth thinking about. If you feel uneasy right now, that's not fear. That's the lock responding. And if you don't feel anything at all, then the lock is already closed. This wasn't about symbols. It was about you noticing how easy it is to stop noticing. This was the hidden order. And the system doesn't need your belief. Only your silence.